right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a really fascinating, kind of paradoxical idea today. What if choosing to be second is actually the secret to winning? I know, it sounds completely backward, right? But stick with me, because by the end of this, you might just see success in a whole new light.
So let's just start with that big question. I mean, what if our entire approach to success, everything we've been taught, is based on a totally flawed idea? What if the real path to winning isn't about clawing your way to the front of the line, but about, intentionally letting someone else go first?
Okay, let's be real for a second. From the time we're kids, we are just wired to compete, aren't we? Win this constant race to be number one in our careers, with our hobbies, maybe even in our relationships. It's this deep, deep drive to be seen as the best. But here's the thing. Is that race really the only way to win?
Well, that's where our source material for today comes in. It's from A Course in Miracles, and it presents just a totally different approach. It basically challenges that entire race to the top mentality. And, well, it offers a path that, let's just say at first, feels completely backwards. And here it is. This is the core idea, coming from lesson 328 of the course. It says, I choose the second place to gain the first. Just let that sit for a second. I choose second place to gain first. I mean, that one sentence just flips everything we think we know about achievement on its head. So, to really get this, we have to understand that there are actually two very different kinds of first place. First, you've got the ego's version of first place, right? This is all about external validation, being better than someone else, getting all the recognition. But then, there's what we could call the spirit's first place. And that one, that's about inner peace, real connection with people, and just a deep sense of fulfillment. And honestly, that distinction, it changes everything. It really makes you ask, which first place am I really chasing?
Okay, so I know this might all sound a little abstract, a little out there, but it has some incredibly practical, real-world applications. So let's break down how this idea actually plays out in our everyday lives. At work, at home, the whole shebang.
All right, let's talk about the workplace. The normal way of doing things, right? You're competing for that promotion, you're trying to get that individual praise. But this new approach asks, what if you did something different? What if you actually focused on supporting your colleagues, on genuinely celebrating their successes? See, by choosing that second place, by letting go of the need to be the star of the show, you actually help create this amazing collaborative atmosphere where, guess what? Everyone thrives, and that includes you.
And it's the exact same idea in our personal relationships. Just think about the last time you were in an argument. Your ego just wants to win, right? To prove you're right and they're wrong. But what if? What if you chose second place in that moment? What if you decided to genuinely try and value the other person's perspective, to actually listen instead of just waiting for your turn to talk? The moment you let go of winning that fight, you open the door to gain something so much better, a real, deep connection. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but I can hear you asking, how do I actually do this? Right? How do you put it into practice? Well, that is exactly what this next part is all about. The source material gives us a really simple, super practical toolkit to get started. It really just starts with two simple exercises. First, a super short meditation. Seriously, just take 5 minutes in silence and think about those moments where you feel that pull, that intense need to prove yourself. That's it. And second, use the main idea as a daily affirmation. Just repeat it to yourself throughout the day. I choose the second place to gain the first. Especially when you find yourself in a situation where you could actually practice stepping back. It's a powerful little reminder. So as we start to wrap this up, I really want to leave you with one final thought to chew on, something for you to reflect on personally. If there's one big thing to take away from all this, it's the massive shift in perspective. The first place that actually gives you lasting happiness, lasting fulfillment. It's not about being better than everyone else. Not at all. It's about finding a solid, unshakable peace inside yourself. That is the real prize. And that brings us right to this final question, just for you. What comes up for you when you think about stepping back? What fears, what beliefs pop into your head when you imagine choosing humility in a moment where you'd normally be fighting for recognition? Just sitting with that question, exploring what comes up, that could be the very first step on a totally different and maybe, just maybe, a much more rewarding path.